As soon as I opened my eyes on Jan 1st, I noticed a bunch of flowers. It was held by my cousin Natasha, who is 13 years old. During the lockdown, she was stuck with us for 2 solid months. During that time, I used to prepare all her favorite dishes in order to cheer her up. I also taught her mathematics as she said that she was weak in it, whereas it was my favorite subject. She was grateful to me for that. So, in order to show her gratitude, she had come to surprise me with those bunch of flowers. At that moment, I realized that the love which we give to others comes back to us multiplied. Let us give love and kindness to everyone this new year and forget the bitter memories within us. In my native place, Mangalore, for every new year, people burn an effigy with the previous year's number written on it. Now, this is symbolic of burning our bad thoughts, bad memories, bad habits, and sickness. Let us do the same. Let us burn the negativity within us, carry the learnings of the past, and begin this new year on a positive note. Happy New Year, everyone. To take the meeting forward, I would like to call our grammarian Toastmaster Maria to introduce the word of the day. Toastmaster Maria, are you there?
Sanvita.
Yeah, can you please share the word of the day today?
Yes, of course. You want me to introduce just the word of the day, Anvita?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, the word of the day is sanguine today. The meaning of it is being positive and optimistic as well as being cheerful.
Thank you, Toastmaster Maria. Our timer is Toastmaster Liz and our counter is going to be Toastmaster Satya. I'm just going to skip their roles because we have a 10 to 12 minute speech also today. So next up, I would like to request our evaluator one, Toastmaster Madhu, to read out the guidelines of the first speech.
I'm sorry, Anita, I didn't get that evaluation, these guidelines. Just I will glance and I will give my evaluation at the end of the meeting.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Madhu. So now I would like to please help me welcome our speaker one, DTM Somesh, with the speech title Leaders Modus Operandi. Leaders Modus Operandi, DTM Somesh.
Very warm welcome and happy 2021 to everyone. This is the first meeting we are having in the new year. And modus operandi, what does that mean? Modus operandi means how one should operate oneself. So today's speech that I'm going to give is in terms of what is the process in which a leader should operate. I'd like to share the screen. Are you able to see the screen? This is basically part of researching and presenting. And what I'm going to talk is from Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. He has mentioned there are 11 attributes that a leader should have. And when we develop these attributes, we keep becoming a better leader. I have categorized these into personal and social. This is not in the categorization that Napoleon Hill has given. I have thought about it in terms of what is more related to personal and what is more related to social. The first attribute that Napoleon Hill mentions is unwavering courage. The leader should have unwavering courage. What does unwavering mean? Unwavering means that it does not, whatever be the condition, there is steadfastness, right? So a leader has got a sanguine disposition as well. We'll come to it later, a pleasing personality. So that's a social kind of attribute. So courage. So what do we mean by unwavering courage? We mean that because the situation would not be the same every time. Sometimes the situation is very good. Sometimes it is not so good. And in both the conditions, whether it's good or whether it's not so good, the leader should have courage to persist and be determined. So that's the first attribute. The second is self-control. This is quite an important one. So what Napoleon Hill mentions is that if a leader cannot control himself, then there is no way he is going to lead the team. So self-control is very important. What do we mean there? If someone in the team is not behaving properly, for example, so the leader should have the self-control to not overreact, to respond rather than react. So there is a difference between reacting and responding. What is the difference? Reacting is like a knee-jerk reaction. So if someone has got a disposition of getting angry and the leader has to deal with such a person, if the leader is reacting to the anger of the person in his team immediately, what is happening? There is a conflict that is happening, and the conflict keeps getting aggravated. So therefore, the self-control is important. Responding rather than reacting. When something is happening, we process it within ourselves, and then we understand how to respond to that situation. So that's the self-control. The third point that Napoleon Hill mentions is definiteness of decision. This is very important as well. Definiteness of decision. So leader has to keep making decisions. And one of the important characteristics of leader should be that they have to reach decision as soon as possible. If it takes too long to take a decision, then the followers will not have that much faith in the leader. And when the decision is taken, it has to be definite. It should not be, again, it comes back to the unwavering courage. So it should be steadfast, a definite decision. And once that decision is made, there has to be a plan that has to be done. And then the leader has to make a definite plan. Again, definiteness is a very important point there. Definiteness of decision and definiteness of plans. Then the fifth point that Napoleon Hill mentions is the habit of doing more than paid for. This is an extremely important point. So the leader is so much engaged in what they're doing, they're one-pointed, and they're not thinking about what I'm going to get out of it in terms of some monetary benefit or in terms of any other benefit. The leader is thinking about how can I do this thing in the best possible way. And one of the interesting points about the habit of doing more than paid for is if one keeps that attitude of doing more than paid for, eventually one will get paid for more than what they are being paid for currently. So this is a very, it's like a catch-22 situation that they generally mention. So someone is expecting that they get paid for more, but if they are not putting in that effort, they will never get paid for more. But if someone is just one-pointedly concentrating on doing their duties in the best possible way, then automatically their pay will increase. So this is a very important point there. And willingness to assume full responsibility. This is the sixth point, full responsibility. So it's this, and there is one most important point here in the assuming full responsibility, and that is that even if some of the person in the team is not doing well, the leader has to take responsibility for that. The leader, because leader is leading, and they have to take responsibility for each and every member's contribution in the team. So if one member is not contributing properly, then the responsibility is actually going to the leader. The leader has to take that responsibility and ensure that the member performs better the next time. And mastery of detail. Mastery of detail is when one understands what needs to be done, what are the qualifications that leader should have. And even in terms of whatever work that has to be done, the leader should know in terms of what the work the team is doing. So all these 7 qualities are personal qualities. That's what I have categorized it as. And the social is where we are interacting with others. So in the social, there are 4, which is a keen sense of justice. So what does this mean? A keen sense of justice. This means that the leader has to ensure that, say, in a meeting, sometimes some people won't speak. They would be introverts, right? And some people would like to speak a lot, extroverts. So the leader has to ensure that the introvert gets the chance to speak. So that is a keen sense of justice there, in terms of ensuring that everyone gets equal opportunities. Next is a pleasing personality. So this is what I mentioned, a sanguine, a person who is cheerful, who likes to work with others, who is not dominating others, but working with the people in terms of cooperation. Then one becomes a pleasing personality. Sympathy of understanding. This is very important. Empathy. Knowing where the other person is coming from, wearing the other person's shoes. That's extremely important. And the last point is cooperation. Cooperation is everyone working together. So if people are working as individuals in a group, that's not a team. What is a team? A team is when everyone has one purpose and everyone is going towards one goal. Then a group of people become team. And one of the definitions that I really like about team is together, everyone achieves more. So when everyone comes together, they achieve more. So there is a very important saying as well, that the sum of the parts is greater than the whole, right? The whole is greater than the sum of parts. That means if everyone works together, their output will be greater than everyone working individually. So this is what cooperation is. So to conclude, these are very important points and extremely important in terms of a leader to understand all these points. So to conclude, I would just take the quotation of Napoleon Hill. He says that the successful leader must plan his work and work his plan. So what does it mean? First of all, planning is important, definiteness of plan. And then once the plan is done, one has to ensure that the plan gets executed. So a successful leader must plan his work and work his plan. So let's ensure that we all become leaders of our own self first, and then of our whole team, and make this new year the most successful year ever. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, DTM Somesh. Please give him a big round of applause. Thank you for highlighting that together everybody achieves more, and you also highlighted the personal and social traits of a good leader. I'll certainly try to follow it, as I truly believe that those points will definitely make a person a good leader. Next up, I would like to call evaluator to Toastmaster John to read out the speech objectives of speaker 2.
I haven't got the objectives, but offhand, this is presentation mastery 5. Rosanna has actually finished that. She now has to reflect on the path. It's a 10 to 12 minute speech, reflecting on the path with the title, One Thing Leads to Another. Thank you. Back to you, Evita.
Thank you, Toastmaster John. Please give him a big round of applause. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Ruziana. One thing leads to another. One thing leads to another. Toastmaster Ruziana.
Thank you, Toastmasters of the evening. I just want to ask you, why do you join Toastmasters? What are the benefits of joining Toastmasters? Madam Toastmasters, let me share my screen. So for me, to reflect on my path, I first joined, this is my first online meeting actually, my first online Toastmasters. But before that, I've joined in August 2019. This is my first club. This is Inshallah Malaysia. And then I joined another one in October after that. And this is my third club, which is the first online club that I joined. So there are too many benefits. Reflecting on my path, why I joined Toastmasters, there's too many benefits that I've benefited from Toastmasters, such as being a good evaluator. Before this, I do not know how to evaluate, and then being a good listener, and a good leader, improve my English, improve action-oriented tasks, and sometimes becoming an MC like our Toastmasters of the evening. And along the way, becoming some kind of Zoom savvy and started my podcasting, even though I didn't do that project, but it gave some kind of ideas of how to do, and the list goes on. And one thing leads to another. What I want to share with you today is my path started when I started to study of all those successful people. Why did they get so successful? And then that leads me to study all of these, like these people. So this like Bill Gates and like Malala here, you can see that one child, one teacher, one pen, one book can change the world. Let me move myself there. So, and then like Socrates, what he said, to know is to know what you know nothing, and that is the meaning of true knowledge. And then Mary Somerville, for example, she self-taught herself to break the code, mathematics code, even without any schooling. So she taught herself. So what we can learn from all these people is that they are long life learner, and some of them, they become rich along the way. Just like what our Somesh said just now, noting Napoleon Hill is part of these people. These are all sanguine kind of attitude. And then reflecting on my journey as Toastmasters, let me share with you that why these are important. All right. So, okay, let me forward. When I have time, I'll go to that. So my mentor, when I first joined Toastmasters, my mentor told me that just book your speech, and just show up. Like Woody Allen said, 80% of success is just showing up. Just whenever the meeting, just show up and book your speech. And he told me that we learn best in the moments of enjoyment, just like Smedley said. And so when I put my name to do my speeches, of course, I got panic because then I have to prepare for it. And that will goes on. And every time I put my name, I have to prepare for it. I got panic, but that is good kind of panic. So that is a good thing about Toastmasters. And one thing leads to another. And like what Somesh doing today, researching and presenting. At one point during my path, I have to do research and presenting. And that leads me to read a lot of books. And these books, one of them that was shared by Somesh just now is here. Think and Grow Rich is part of the book. Move myself from there. So, and what I want to share with you today, because this is New Year, and I really want you to concentrate because this is really important, is between goals and system. And of all, I've shared some of these books to my club during my speeches, but today I really want to share about this one important book that I've just read, but I can relate it to goals and resolutions. So every year before I read this book, every year I have goals and resolutions. And right now, like we have what people say that they have goals and resolutions, and some say they have SMART goal. You know, SMART stands for what do you call it? Specific, attainable, timeline, and whatnot. But what's more important than the goal itself or resolution is that the system with this current situation, more important than the goals is the system. Like what Somesh said just now, definiteness of purpose. Of course, we have to define it. But he also said about habit. And this is important that we can incorporate this into this new year. And I really want to tell you some important thing that I get from this book, because atomic means that it is the smallest portion, meaning that it's very, very small, and that can lead to bigger things. For example, I want to lose weight, since right now I cannot play much of tennis because of the rainy season and things like that. So my weight, and because of in lockdown, so at home, of course, I just continue eating and eating. So for example, this year, I want to lose weight. I can give my goals to lose weight and have a resolution against to lose weight and things like that. But we have to have a system. And these atomic habits, when I read this book, it says that you have to have, for example, if you, right now I want to reduce my weight, and I have this bad habit. What is the suggestion by this book is that you make it easy to transform your bad habit to a good habit. For example, my bad habit is that whenever I want to go and play tennis, I would grab some crisps, for example, chips or whatever, all those not so good kind of food to eat, because I was still got some subconscious mind that maybe I will not have enough energy, although I have big lunch. I prepare big lunch because I wanted to play tennis, and then before that I also want to eat some of these junks. So right now, make it easy to change that bad habit into good habits. So right now I change that by cutting some fruits and put in the fridge and make it easy for me. So whenever I want to go and play tennis, I just grab it, and there I go to play my tennis. And I, instead of bring the junk, I take the fruits with me. So meaning that you break your, so my goal is actually to reduce weight, but what is it got to do with all these small thing that is going to lead there? So this is what that means we have to have the system. So we try to make it, change it and tweak it to make it easy on us, so that we can achieve that bigger goal by having all these small things to have a change of bad habits to a good one. All right, so that is one of the one thing leads to another. So all these books has helped me to change the resolution to a proper system which is attainable and manageable, so that we can really achieve our goal by just tweaking what Brandon Bouchard said. There's this as, he called this as a triggered moment. Triggered moment, that is the important thing. So something that trigger you, and then when you have this, you take another one. For example, I always forget to drink water. So there is a trigger moment that when I see that my water bottle is half empty, I just fill it up, and then I can remember to drink it. So we have the triggered moment. That is the important thing. All right. So this is about the system of atomic habits. And the other one thing leads to another. And the other thing that I learned from Toastmasters is about evaluation. And this is also one of the books that I read that has helped me a lot, which is a PIC, How to Master Almost Anything. And this is done by Professor Anders Ericsson. He studied expert of all the expert in the world, meaning that he studied why these people can become expert in sanguine kind of attitude. And actually, all the while we got it wrong, like Beethoven, Mozart. We thought that they are talented, and he discovered that actually there's no such thing as talent, maybe just a bit. And the fact is that anything you can learn. And this is what they call as deliberate practice. And in Toastmasters, we are doing this all the time by having our evaluation. This is called deliberate practice. Practice does not make perfect. That was a flaw. That is not true at all. It's this deliberate practice that is going to make us better and faster. And Smedley once said, real communication is impossible without listening. And evaluation, we are listening and get all the feedback. Teach us how to listen. Also being a Toastmasters and also topic masters help us to listen and give feedback. And I also want to share how I adopt to my personal and business life. Evaluation, right now when I put on my gratitude journal, I will put there, I'm happy and grateful today, blah, blah, blah. But after I joined Toastmasters, right now I can share something like, I am happy and grateful that today I excel at something. And then one step further, to move from good to great, what do I do? So this thing I adopt into my personal life and also my business life in solving problems. So in conclusion, all these people, they are long life learner. So I always inspired to see all the DTMs, how they speak, very, very good. I mean, and that inspired me to join Toastmasters. And I want to be like them. And this is to, I didn't see the timer. Is the time yet? Sorry, I should have. All right. Okay. So in order to achieve our goal, we need to have a system. So in order to be good communicator and good leader, efficient leader and communicator, we have to have a system. And the system is none other than Toastmasters. Back to you. Thank you.
Please give a big round of applause to Toastmaster Ruziana. I joined Toastmasters to overcome my speech fear, but here I learned so much more. I learned from each and every person I meet. So if there are any guests here who is a non-Toastmaster, you should definitely join Toastmasters because it will definitely transform us from being good to being great. Next up, I would like to call our topic master for today, Toastmaster Kathy, to take the screen. Please give her a big round of applause.
Sorry, sometimes my mute button wants to be a little bit ornery. Those are some really great speeches. The topic theme for today is going to be, and hopefully we keep it in a sanguine mode, is going to be about reflecting on the last year. And most of us are very grateful to be going on to 2021, as it's been a rough year for many of us. So I am going to select some people that don't currently have a role, unless anybody wants to volunteer right up front. Do I have any volunteers? I don't see any hands. So I am going to select, I think we will go with, how about Rock? You want to go ahead and start us off? So what would you say the single most challenging thing was that you overcame from last year?
Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, the most difficult thing that I overcame from last year, I think it's got to be the virus that's out there. We had to basically take everything we were doing and completely change it in order to be able to fit the times. But we were sanguine about it and kept a positive attitude. And what that we ended up doing for the most part is we offered the clients that we have to go on Zoom and do presentations or whatever that we needed to do that would normally be face-to-face just over the internet. So that gave us an out that we could use for those that were afraid of the virus. It really kind of worked out pretty well because everything we can do is electronic. All of our contracts are electronic. Face-to-face can be electronic. They can take their camera and show us the inside of their homes if they want them to be listed. If they're someone that's looking to buy a place, we can go in there with just us, with all the protective on, and take pictures for them or got them around on a video camera. It's really kind of revolutionized the way that the real estate business is done overall. As most of you know, I am a real estate broker, so I have to trickle this down to my agents as well. And that's what that we kind of had to overcome this last year with everything going on. Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you. That was excellent. I love seeing that it was relevant to your specific career. I know that that's been a very, at least here in the U.S., real estate has been very fascinating and been able to roll with the punches.
Mm.
I have a lot of friends that are getting into real estate.
Yeah, we were considered essential workers.
Yes, yes, I believe that. So Nora, would you like to go next?
Sure. So is it the same topic or something different?
We're going to be in the same genre. Tell me about some of the best books or some of the best things that you learned from last year that you're going to bring into the upcoming year.
As many of us, I really like this because it's a personal growth. So one of those things that every year I always like to set my goals for the year, which I achieved absolutely none of them that I set at the beginning of 2020. So I just gave up. I was like, whatever, I'm just going to get through this year. What it has done though, is it's kind of helped me refocus quite a bit. So while I feel like I still have some professional goals, I think this year I'm going to concentrate on more personal goals as far as and being specific. So when I was listening to Rosanna's speech about setting that weight loss goal, I realize a lot of times I may set a weight loss goal, but it'll be like I want to lose 10 pounds. So one of the things I've started doing is refocusing. If I want to lose weight, one of my goals is to drink more water and less soda. It's to use my FitnessPal app every day. It's different things that will actually get me to that weight loss goal rather than just an overall goal of 10 pounds, because it can seem so far away. And then the other one of goal is to be more mindful. And I wanted to do that same concept, which is I'm actually going to just start sending physical cards to people, my family, try once a month to just make sure that I have that connection a little bit more than sending a text or things along those lines. So it's really about setting that goal and creating actual concrete steps to achieve it. Thank you. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. That's excellent. Rosie was talking about atomic habits, and that's actually a CD set that I actually just got from the library because it become so highly recommended. Let's see, who will I get next? Antoinetta, would you like to go? What was the best way that you used your time in the past year?
Thank you. Well, one of the positive things, and that I think we all were sanguine about, it was I had the opportunity actually to join Toastmasters in this year in July, mid-July. So that was one of the highlights, and being connected, turning kind of the difficulties into something positive and optimistic, was that has allowed many of us to open a window to the world. Those of us who like traveling and learning from different cultures. This is being quite a positive thing for all of us. Being just here together with you is an example of it. And going back to appreciating the simple things that I used to live I now consider a blessing living close to the ocean. So what I took for granted of walking during the summer to the ocean, I had never done it during the winter. Actually, I walk more towards, within the urbanization, for example, and I got to enjoy the winter walking through the beaches as well, and just little things that sometimes we took for granted have become much more appreciative and will become, I think, more sanguine about it.
Excellent. I love hearing everybody's positivity. Our personal growth theme here always is we get a chance to reflect on the past year and the goals ahead, especially with this group. Fatima, would you like to go next? Can you hear me?
Did you say me?
Yes, ma'am. Is that a yes?
Sorry, it's my bedtime. I'm kind of. Oh, sorry. Okay, come on, Daniel.
Tell me about your favorite books or something that you learned from last year.
Thank you, Table Topics Master. Unfortunately, because I'm doing my doctorate. It's been all research books that I have been reading, nothing like I used to love to read about all these wonderful authors that motivates me, inspires me. But last year it's been all research all the way through. And my topic is on corporate governance. And I believe that's a big subject and that needs to be talked about in the world. However, that one thing that keeps it moving is Toastmasters. Last year, it's been super busy because I'm the vice president of education of the club in Malaysia, plus I'm also the Pathways chair. And it's been continuous working to support members. But as I said to a member today, Toastmasters, it's all about giving back to the society. You don't gain anything. Maybe it's the satisfaction you gain, but the love, the care you give, even mentoring your members, that's something special that only you can give to the members. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not doing anything, go out and help. And I just become a mentor of a new club, and it's a first online in our district 102, a women's club, and we need ladies. So if you're willing to come and help us, please do. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Excellent. You and John are always so busy giving to others all the time. Let me find one more question. Ruben, would you like to go?
Yes, of course.
I love that sanguine attitude. What was the best way that you used your time this past year?
Time is an issue sometimes. And the time of pandemic was valuable. Why? Because we have the opportunity to think over so many things that we had to do, the things that we have never thought about doing. And one of the things that we never thought about doing is staying home and working from home. Before the pandemic time, I used to watch videos and testimonies of people who made lots of money through Facebook and started businesses that they said that they don't need to go to work to a place. They can get money even if they go to the beach. So they can get a lot from their time. So they didn't live to work. They work to live. That was very amazing and very sanguine to believe. So my time was precious, and I really used more time with my family. And I really consider that family time was excellent, was more than sanguine, because before the pandemic, I didn't think about how much time I had to spend with my family. So during this period, family time was the most I could get from this. And of course, working from home and learning such a big things like Zoom meetings at Toastmasters. And my time was huge to share with you all. Back to you.
Thank you so much. What a rousing round of table topics to start off our new year. And I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody. And I am extremely grateful to have gotten to meet all of you and look forward to our journey ahead in the upcoming year. I'm going to hand this back to our Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kathy. Please give her a big round of applause for making us recollect the wonderful memories we had in the year 2020. What better way to start this year, isn't it? To take the meeting forward, I would like to call our general evaluator for today, Toastmaster Fatima, to take the screen. Please give her a big round of applause.
Thank you, Toastmaster. The evening, day, it's over 10 o'clock over here. It's usually my bedtime. You can see I'm yawning. I'm trying to keep away. But it's been a sanguine, beautiful meeting that has been going with all the wonderful speeches. May I request a timer's report for the speeches?
Yes, sure, Ms. General Evaluator. The first speaker, Sumesh, was 9 minutes and 17 seconds, and our second speaker was 12 minutes and 26 seconds. Do you want the table topics as well, or?
Please, yeah.
Yeah. So the first table topic, Rock, was 1 minute and 50. Nora was 1:27, and Antoinette was 1:17. And yourself was 1:39 and Ruben at 2:08. Thank you. General Evaluator.
I believe keeping time is very important. I believe one speaker went a little bit over, but other speaker was within the time. As a general evaluator, my time is calling for the reports. Then after to give my feedback, I will try my best to keep short as we have 15 minutes and usually we have time to talk a little bit. Now I will call the counter for... No counter tonight. And
yes, there is an counter.
Counter, Satya, for your report, please.
Yeah. Greetings, Toastmasters. Distinguished guests.
I'm sorry, Satya. I'm sorry. I must be sleepy very because I need to go for the evaluators report. I'm so sorry. Can we have the first evaluator for the speaker by Somesh Madhu? For the third speech title, leaders, moderators, apparently by Somesh. Over to you, Madhu.
Thank you, Ji. Good day, all the Toastmasters and guests. And congrats the speaker, DTM Somesh, for the well-researched topic and presentation. Coming to the title of the speech, first it is modus operandi. So that itself, it is like confusion for the audience if you read or listen the title of the speech. But in the opening itself, you clarified what does it meaning that how one operate oneself. So you cleared your title of the speech that you made the audience understanding what you are going to speak about your speech. That is the great thing. You opened very well and you did a good research in your topic. That is, you mentioned the Napoleon Hill's 11 attributes a leader should have. All the points you have mentioned, so it was excellent. And moreover, the great thing, you divided all the 11 points as per your understanding. That is 7 has a personal and 4 as the social. That is you divided, that is good, and you give the examples. You give examples for each points. That is unwavering courage. So you give the example of the situation, whether it is good or not. The leader should be very courage and the self-control. How a leader should respond. He should not react for the situations. Then the decision-making ability the leader should have, the responsibility. There were 7 points. For all the 7 points, you gave the examples and you made understanding the audience what the leader should have the personalities. Coming to the social, there were 4 points. That is justice, you gave the examples, treat all the persons are equal, and the pleasing personality, sympathy, cooperation, For all the points you gave your own examples, so that is all the audience resonated your examples and they understood what is the qualities of the leader. So overall, your content of this speech was good. Coming to the delivery parts, your calm compose of the flow of the speech was good, and your audibility, it was excellent. It was hot, and you explained all the speeches one by one with an example. The conclusion, that is very important in your speech. You gave the conclusion. It is hot. That is plan the work and work the plan. So action your plan your action. It is as simple as to reach any goals, even in for your speech to become a leader. And the one area of improvement I can advise, that is voice modulation, because there were many emotional aspects, that is being the courage and being the sympathy. You could have shown the voice modulation with your body, just you could have shown the emotions. That is what I felt. Over to G.
Thank you, Madhu, for the constructive feedback. Now I will invite the second evaluator, John Khalid, who is sitting beside me, to give evaluation on the speech by Rosie. One thing leads to another. Over to you.
Thank you, Ms. General Evaluator. I particularly like this speech because at some time in the next couple of weeks, I'll be doing exactly the same speech, finishing a pathways and having to do a reflect on your pathway. I like Rosie when she started off, she asked a question, which gets everybody thinking if you asked a question. The style was storytelling and informational. She started how she actually began in Toastmasters and then worked her way through to where she got in the end. There was very good visuals. When she brought up everything, the visuals, she just did not leave it there and say anything, nothing about it. She explained what the visuals are, which I thought was very good to actually invite us. Goals and systems. And she did use her speech title halfway through. One thing leads to another. I heard it as she went through. And there was some good quotes. I like the one with Woody Allen, which is just turn up, which I've heard before from Woody Allen. I think I've actually heard him saying it in a speech at some time, just turn up. So I like those sort of topics. I've got a couple of books that I read down, Atomic Habits and Peak, which I shall look into later. So she stimulated some interest from me, and I believe some of the others looking on were stimulated as well. Some areas that I feel could improve. You did ask the question to begin with, and there was a slight pause and nobody answered. Yeah, I don't know whether you expected somebody to answer, but if you feel that you need something to answer, you could ask somebody before you start. Say that you're going to ask a question, tell them the topic. So if nobody answers you, you can pick that person out and say, what do you think? Say Rocky or something like that. So that you've got somebody that feeds back to you, which I've done in some speeches that I've done. And remember, SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. I think you sort of missed a few out there. But apart from that, I enjoyed your speech very well. It was a good speech to finish off, and congratulations on finishing your presentation mastery. Okay, so back to you.
Thank you, John Khalid, for your evaluation. Push me up. We have to share the screen over here to people. Now, timer, can we have the timer's report, please, again? Thank you.
For the two evaluators, Madam General Evaluator, the first evaluator was 2 minutes and 4 seconds, and the second at 2 minutes, no, sorry, 3 minutes and 4, and the second evaluator 2:48. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Taima. Now I shall call upon our accountant, Satya. I'm so sorry for doing that. Over to you for your accountant's report. This time I
Thank
won't.
you. Thank you, General Evaluator. Greetings to all the Toastmasters here, also distinguished guests who have gathered here this evening. While looking at today's speeches, like it was observed last week, in this club, we don't have many people talking about crush words, so to say, which I was not allowed. No, there was no time earlier to say. Let me, for the benefit of the guests, let me tell you, I was required to observe during the speech of all the speakers crush words like well, so, like, or repetitive words, or also short and long pauses. This was the requirement, is what I was required to look at. Now, if when I listened to all the speakers, I didn't find all of them talking all of these crush words, but few I have noted down and observed. DTM Somesh has said the word so nearly 10 times. And the repetition were Napoleon Hill, earlier part of the speech. It had come several times. And while concluding, he said the word conclude. This is about DTM Somesh. Rosiana has said 4 times, 3 times, so 3 times. Nora only 1 time, Then John said twice. That's all from my side. All others have done extremely well, including our guest, Antonita. Very well done, Antonita. Thank you for coming. We hope to see you once again and again on this club. Back to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Satya. Our accountant, well done. Brief and short, sweet. Now let's hear the report from our language evaluator, grammarian, Maria. Over to you.
Thank you, General Evaluator. So list of the names, those who use the word of the day are Somesh, Rosiana, Kathy, Rock, Antonietta, Ruben, Fatima, and John. A big round of applause to everyone, those who have used the word of the day. Thank you. So certain sentences which are used in an improper way. So few suggestions for that. When I put my name, instead of that, when I enrolled my name, he also said, could be, he also mentioned the book suggestion. This book suggests, listen to the title, give the examples, gave the examples. What is the qualities? Instead of that, what are the qualities? And I have also noted few figurative languages which the speakers used. Simile, the comparison of bad habits with good habits, business life with personal life, and metaphor, one thing leads to another, being good to being great, open the window of world, the style was storytelling. And repetition, pleasing personality, benefits, benefited, mentoring members, finish or finishing. So the list of quotes, thoughts, words, which I liked very much is unwavering courage, keen sense of just, together everyone achieves more, whole is greater than sum of its parts, plan is work and work is plan, to know is to know that you know nothing. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Maria, for your language evaluator report. I always love grammarian report because I cannot do so well. I counter these special people. Now, to give my report, I don't have a lot, but I think overall tonight's speaker, they have done justice to the group, person growth. They specifically talked about the leaders, their qualities, their traits by Somesh and Luciana, which is very fitting to the group. And hopefully we will hear more from other speakers on such topics. And we have total 15 participants tonight, including John, which is 16. So well done, guys. And we look forward to see our guests here. Maybe as we are concluding, it's time for us to hear some words from the guests before we conclude, or I will just conclude and hand over to Anvita so she can continue with the next step of talking to the guests. Over to you, Anvita.
Thank you, Toastmaster Fatima. Please give her a big round of applause for her wonderful evaluation. So looks like we have 3 guests here. I would like to request them to introduce themselves, maybe your hobbies. If you're part of any Toastmasters club, you can mention that, and also your profession. Paul, Chandy, would you like to go first? Hi.
Oh, hello. My name is Paul Chandy, and I'm a teacher. I've always believed communication is very important. So one main reason for joining Toastmasters was to improve my communication while teaching, while presenting. I'm also pursuing business interests, so that's where it'll be useful. Hobbies, of course, reading, which is the bread and butter of any personal growth. When I was younger, in my younger years, maybe in my idealistic years, I used to read literature, English literature, but it all turned to reading biographies and business books. And somehow I've forgotten about the literature because I'm in that pursuit of success and growth. And I read spiritual books as well, and well-being. And another hobby of mine is eating, although I don't eat as much as I used to. So I do enjoy eating nutritious, good food and cooking and keeping healthy, fit and strong, and bearing the British weather. So that's really me, and wishing you all a happy new year and keep growing.
Thank you, Paul. Please give him a big round of applause. Happy New Year to you too. I think that is something we both have in common. I love eating too. Now I would like to request Toastmaster Antonita to introduce herself.
Hello, Happy New Year as well. Best wishes for this 2021. And in my case, I used to organize corporate events and performance business liaison for foreign local executives until, of course, I joined Toastmasters. And thanks to Toastmasters, many years ago, the first time I joined it with my Toastmasters, I discovered this special enjoyment about sharing information and training. So I was involved in delivering trainings for the Bilateral Chamber of Commerce. And then later on, I also got a master's in the States. And later on, I got involved in academics. So I was a professor at the university, and I couldn't continue attending the club face-to-face. That's what now it's very, I'm blessed to do so, I think. And I've been enjoying it. And I stopped teaching last year. I enjoy topics of personal development in my background in business, but I also like topics on soft skills. And now I'm adapted to this new way of communicating, and I hope to be back to facilitating workshops by the second part of this year.
Thank you, Toastmaster Antonita. Please give her a big round of applause. It was a pleasure knowing you. Now I would like to request our another guest, Jolanta, to introduce herself.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I don't know where you are. I'm Jolanta. I'm a member of the Helvet Speakers in Durham, in the Northeast England, the same as Liz. We are in the same club. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I've been with the Toastmasters for 4 years now. And the main reason why I joined was just curiosity, just to see what does the club do that is so successful across all the countries. And, you know, my first impression was it looked like a theater to me, all the clapping, all the introductions, and I was quite taken aback. But after a few visits, I just got into it and I liked it. I thought that's fantastic. You know, for a moment, you can have the scene and you can talk to people and you can also check the reactions in a safe environment. And I think that's what really got me hooked up to it. Professionally, I do work for an IT company. We produce a financial software for hospitals, councils, all the public sector in the UK. So it's a completely different type of work. But I think the appreciation for the public speaking really came from watching motivational speakers, where they talk to you and you feel like you connect to them. And I think that's a skill. And to get there, it takes years of practice, to start first just as a speaker who is fighting the feeling of being afraid talking to people, and then transforming into a speaker who can actually connect to the audience. I think this is really what's, at the top of my goals, I would say. And that's all from me. Thank you very much. Lovely meeting you. Thank you for allowing me to participate in this session. See you next time.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jolanta. I too completely agree with you. Clapping is the best part of Toastmasters, and it is the only platform where you can give a bad speech and still get appreciated. With this, we can conclude today's meeting. Can we fill roles for next week?